Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
To another week of wild and wacky chit chats with the twins. It's another freezing cold day. I just can't seem to warm up today.
She's a little frosty.
She's frigid. And my husband actually drove me here today, and he was wearing shorts. And I was like, "You're crazy for wearing shorts." And he's like, "It's just refreshing." And it's funny because with this cold weather, I do find that it is it makes you feel alive. Like, it's so invigorating and it's so exciting. More people spend time complaining about it and bitching about it. Good morning, Laverne.
Good morning.
And happy belated to this beautiful, beautiful gal, Laverne.
Yes, it's her birthday yesterday.
We were just talking about the weather. It seems like every time we have this live chat, the weather is crazy in some way, shape, or form. But anyways, that's not even what we're here to talk about today. We're talking about Who Ya Bein. And I'm reading the Advanced How to Become Money workbook right now. And there's some information in there that I read that just made me mind blown. So I'll just tell you, this is the book, the Advanced How to Become Money workbook, because this year is all about money and all about being, and all about being the question. So a lady who was about to fly to the U.S. to do the Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class called me and said, "A taxi is coming in 4 hours to take me to the airport. I really want to take this trip, but everything in this reality is screaming at me not to go. It's not practical. Think of your family, your in-laws, your finances. There is a pattern to this. I do things that are inconceivable to others. I see things I could be or do different, yet there's a part of me that still buys into this reality." Good morning, Jessica Ann.
Good morning.
I'm just reading out of the Advanced How to Become Money workbook by Gary Douglas. So this woman basically wants to do something, but she knows she wants to, but she's worried about what other people might think. So Gary says, "I asked, what are you trying to create from? Awareness, conclusion, or the rightness of somebody else's point of view?" And we do this.
Can you say
all
that
the
again?
time.
Because I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
Okay, so good morning, Kate. So this person wants to go and do something, but she's worried about what other people are going to think, even though deep down it's what she wants. So Gary says to her, "I asked, what are you trying to create from? Awareness, conclusion, or the rightness of somebody else's point of view? How much of your conceivable universe belongs to other people?" She said, "I'm aware I have a different choice than everybody else. I'm aware of that, and I'm willing to make choices for the things that are inconceivable. But this reality is taking up way too much of my time at the moment. Does this describe you? You have to ask, what is it I want to create? What is the most important thing for me in my whole life that I could create? Would make me, if I could create it, it would make me happy. Do you actually choose what makes you happy, or are you trying to make other people feel comfortable and happy? Why is it an issue for you that other people don't have the point of view you do? We do this all the time. I know I do,
I definitely do.
And it's something like that, I'm trying to work on, that we talk about all the time. And it is a practice. It's like strengthening a new muscle, because we have been raised to worry about what other people think.
And to fit in.
And
right?
to fit in and do the right thing. And,
Hi, Mary Lynn.
just say or what is it? The golden rule: do unto others as you would like them have to do unto you. So, we treat each other like shit, and we treat ourselves like shit. So what can we do about that? So if nobody agrees with you, do you have to see the rightness in their point of view? Why do you even care why they choose what they choose? Why do you care about their point of view? Because you're supposed to? That's called somebody else's sanity must be greater than mine, because I know I'm insane. You think that you think they are going to put a little white jacket on you and carry you away. Don't come to a conclusion about what you choose. Ask a question.
Hola.
Hola, Carol. So we're talking about who you being and just worrying about other people's point of view and making that the reason we choose what we choose, and not choosing what we choose because we're worried that we'll look insane and be taken away, basically. And we have conclusions about what it's going to look like. We make choices based on what we think the outcome could be, not just choosing because we're choosing because that's what would make us happy. So what are you choosing? If you could choose anything despite any consequences, what would you choose? Have to start asking yourself questions. So you make a choice and you say, that wasn't my best choice. But then instead of asking, what else can I choose? You start looking at how you were right or how you were wrong. And it just stops the whole creative process. There's no other choices we can make. We look at a rightness or a wrongness about it. So instead of like being like, well, that didn't work out. Now what else can I choose? We're like, well, that didn't work out. What the hell did I do wrong?
Oh, and then you just get stuck in the mud, and then you're afraid to move forward.
Totally.
It's insanity.
It is insanity. And like, even just, well, it's like the whole, we all have to be the same. We all have to be normal. We all have to fit in. And like, we were talking about like even back in the day when people went to school, like if you were left-handed, well, that was not the normal thing to be. You had to be right-handed. So they actually physically tied lefties' hands behind their back so that they would be like everyone else and everyone would be right-handed. Like, that is insane.
So don't go into a judgment of yourself for feeling like you need to be like everybody else, because that's the way we're taught to be.
Right? Like, we haven't really known another way, you know? Mm-hmm. So what if you were never right? And what if you were never wrong? There would be only one thing left that you could totally be. Totally strong. If you are never right and you're never wrong, the only thing left is to be totally strong, because strength comes from the awareness of a difference you are, not from the judgment of other people's realities about what to choose. Most of us do not acknowledge the strength we have and are. How does it become acceptable to you to never acknowledge the strength that you are? Like, seriously, how insane is it that we're never taught to see the strength in us? Like, that's nuts. And, you know, like, thinking of going to school, you know, like, even when we were kids and going to school, like, we all take the same subjects. Even though we're all so different, we all take the same subjects. We all, like, have to do things the way, like, it's such a structure, right? It's not changeable. And anyone that tries to, like, be outside of that structure is looked at in a wrong way. And it's a wrongness about them, a badness. My favorite saying is, other people's opinions of me is none of my business.
That is one of my favorite sayings as well,
I love
Carol.
that.
Because it is none of our business. It doesn't matter what other people think of us.
Totally. But we also weren't taught that is a thing to be okay with, like, to be different. And recently, I think it was last week, a couple weeks ago, one of the gals from the school asked my daughters that are 9 and 7, and some other kids if they wanted to go to the school and do some art. And my kids were super excited because my Izzy wants to grow up and be an artist in Paris. And anyway, so the kids went to the school and they painted different things on different parts of the school. And one of them was in the girls' bathroom, and it said, was it Dare to be Different?
Something like that.
It's okay to be different. And I went in the school and I took a picture of them, and they're being like super goofy and they're being them. They're being them, and they were just beaming with like pride, you know, and just so happy, and like there's a little piece of them on the walls. And so I'll post the picture after, because it's just, it says it all.
And
it's okay
such
to
a
be different.
Beautiful colored wall too. It's very inviting.
And such a powerful message for all the girls that go in there and see that, you know, even if they're not really paying attention to it, but the energy of it that those girls put into painting it. And anyway, so what I think is so amazing is that it just shows like our school here in Davidson is like allowing kids to be themselves, you know, like that's like a step up in this day and age, really. Like it's a bold message showing the kids out there that it is okay to be different. So I just really I know the art is awesome. I think Kate, your daughter, maybe was there too. And like I love that the teachers allowed that, because a lot of places wouldn't, and the fact that they do is just such a strong message to those kids out there that it is okay to be different. You know, like there's rules. They kind of have to have somewhat of a structure in a school.
Somewhat of a, can't go totally crazy,
but also acknowledging that not everybody is the same. So kudos to the Davidson Elementary School.
Yes, and to our awesome friend who made that happen.
Who made it happen.
Yeah.
She's such a gift to those children, and So just goes to show that sometimes you got to step a little bit outside your comfort zone, like to be, you know, to do something different, to be outside of this reality and like the norm, and you know, out of just the way it is, just the way people do things, to actually step up and do something different does take a lot of courage, but then you see change, and then you create more for you and everybody else for now and the future.
Good morning, Felita. Well, and we were talking about too, you know, like being different is going out against the norm can be scary, but if you're not being you, people can sense that energy anyways. Totally. You know, like when someone's not being themselves, you can be saying one thing, but the energy that's coming forward is a totally different thing. So you might as well be you.
Exactly. And like, yeah, it's true, because when you see, well, even how you're talking about why people like watching sports and why people like watching music, because you see those people like really in the moment being
100% in it, right?
Totally.
All their energy is into that sport or that, you know, singing or playing that instrument or whatever it is.
And people see that and they're like, I want that.
Like, and they might not understand what's going on, but it's like, I like that energy. There's something about that.
Exactly.
Because it's 100% real.
What's even like watching, like, say, you've come across this video. I don't know how many people often have this, but I have, where it's like they're speaking a different language and you don't know what they're saying, but for some reason you're drawn to what they're saying because you're being drawn to like an energy.
Yeah, same with music. Music in another language. Sometimes you're just like, I don't know what they're saying, but whatever that energy that's coming off of that. Yeah.
There's a little more in here that I wanted to read here. Oh no, that wasn't it.
I think you said it was a couple pages.
Well, I like this too. You know, anytime we do something and we're like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? You know, what I like what he says is what you did wrong was you decided that you did something wrong. And the future ended at that moment. We spend more of our lives ending our futures than creating possibilities. Like, if something didn't work, we always want to go into a wrongness of, like, why it happened, instead of just being like, well, I don't like that choice, and I don't like where it took me, so I'm just going to make a new choice. What else is possible? And like we said, being the question, like constantly asking questions and not coming into conclusion about it, and just choosing whatever makes you happy. Like, that's really the easiest, simplest solution to you know, behind your choices and doing what you do, is just do what makes you happy. But we have to, like I said, strengthen this muscle, like, because we're so not used to doing things for us and doing what makes us happy. We're just so used to making our choices based on what other people think. You know, I don't want to say this because they might judge me. They're gonna judge you anyways.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And so be your authentic you and say whatever the hell you want to say. And like, when you feel like that anxious feeling before you, like, you want to say something, because this often happens to me, is I'm about to say something and I feel anxious, and in the past that has stopped me. Because I'm like, well, that must just mean that someone's going to judge me. Well, you know what? That is probably a sense that someone's going to judge you. But the point is that it doesn't matter. It's like, if you're thinking about it and you are so passionate that that is what you want to say, just say it, despite what anyone thinks about it. Because like we were talking, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you say. There's always going to be someone that likes what you have to say and someone that doesn't like what you have to say.
And the people that don't like you aren't going to like the fake version of you or the real version of you, so it doesn't really matter, right?
And who do you want in your life?
Yeah.
Like, do you want a whole bunch of people around you that are okay with you, like, you're around them because you're saying the stuff they want to hear? Like, do you want those kind of people around you? Or do you want people around you that get you and can understand you and, like, are similar to you because you're really being you? Like, it seems like so logical and such a simple thing to choose.
It does.
But why don't we choose it?
Like, for example, this morning I saw a friend of mine on Facebook Messenger who I haven't seen in, like, well, I think since Chris's wedding, actually, was the last time I saw him.
Could be.
Anyways, I just gave a little wave and we started chatting, and he's a total nerd and we're total nerds, and we've always been totally nerdy around each other.
Yeah.
And that feeling where you just get to be you is, like, so amazing, and it made me really, really think about that. Like,
totally.
just be like that all the time, and
then you'd be happy all the time, instead of being, like, in these situations where you're around people that you don't want to be around, but you're so worried about them having a good point of view about you and good things to say about you and good things to think about you that you forget about you altogether. It's like, why wouldn't you just choose to be around the people? And you can weed out the people you don't want to be around you by being you. Like, it's like a win-win situation.
Yes.
It's like, just do and be whatever you want. And, like, if someone doesn't want to be around you, well, good. Why would you want them around you anyways? Oh, so this I wasn't planning to read, but I find this so funny, what we do to ourselves. It's called Getting Around the Insurmountable Object. You put mountains in the way of the future you are trying to create. In order to get rid of the mountains, you have to alter the way you do things. If the mountains are there, they are your creation. What if they were yours to destroy and as easily as they were created? The difficulty is that most of us don't want to see that, because if we saw it, we'd have to believe in somebody we don't believe in. That's right, ourselves. You see an insurmountable object and you think the insurmountable object is actually real. I look at it and ask, how do I get around this? The insurmountable object is the thing you need to get around, not the thing you need to get over. If there was nothing to get over, only everything to get around. What if there was nothing to get over and only everything to get around? But you don't think you're that good, do you? I think you're that good, but you don't. You have the ability to choose things other people can't choose, but you keep acting as though that's wrong, or that somehow you're wrong, or that something else has to occur. I look at where I am. I am in the present. I ask, where do I have to go? What do I have to do today? What has to be handled? So, like, we create these things to prevent us from being all that we can, because if we have this mountain in the way, we're like, oh, I can't do anything about it, so I'm just going to keep being me and keep being in this reality. even though I don't like it, even though it's harder, even though it feels more uncomfortable, even though I feel like something is missing out, it is just more comfortable, so I'll just stay here.
It's more comfortable because it's just what you've been doing all along.
Exactly.
Yes.
So looking at it like a muscle, something that has to be strengthened, and it does get easier and easier every time you do it once. It's like we talked about it in one of our other videos where it's like stepping out on that ledge, and you know what, just go for it and just see what happens.
Try one uncomfortable thing today.
Exactly.
Even if it's running through the mall screaming like a mad person.
Totally.
Whatever it is. Like,
or
it
saying
doesn't
no
matter.
to someone, or saying yes to someone.
Yes.
You know, like someone offers, you know, you to do something with them and you always want to say no, just say yes and see what happens. You know, you don't know, like we just really got to get out of our brains. They are our enemy, because it's our autopilot, and it's telling us what to do based on what it's seen before. So just tell it to shut up.
Yeah.
And really pushing your barriers down and being like, if I were totally being me and I was totally choosing what would make me happy, what would I choose today?
And just noticing, like, I've been really becoming aware of that a lot lately, and just becoming aware of when you are functioning on autopilot, that is strengthening the muscle.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, oh, well, I didn't do this, and I didn't do that, and I didn't do this, but you noticed.
Exactly.
And even that is so much bigger than we realize.
Totally.
Right?
Like, instead of going into a wrongness, like, and a conclusion, like what you just said, it's like, okay, I'm becoming more aware.
Yes, maybe not right in the moment,
Exactly.
but after, and that's pretty good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all baby steps, right? Like, it's just those little moments where you catch yourself and acknowledge that you were aware of, that it even happened. Like, that's huge. Because most people don't function that way. They just are continually like, I did this wrong, and it was because of this, and now I'm a shitty person, you know, like, and beating yourself up all the time. It's like, okay, what else is possible that I haven't even considered?
Yes.
So, does anybody have any questions before we go here? Just trying to, like, keep warm, and even if you're at home today, really, what is one thing you could do? Or even if you're at work and you're like, well, I can't do anything today because I'm at work and I got to do this, and this.
Oh, there's
like,
so much you can do at work, though.
Totally.
I just think of all the times that I grumble and complain about stuff, and it's funny because half the time that I'm complaining about stuff now, I'm like, that's like, well, I don't even know why I'm doing that. And it's so funny because it's like, that's not even me. It's just,
it's autopilot.
It's the old me that used to like to complain about stuff. But yeah, it's funny.
If being like you two is being nerdy, wow, you make it look like it's such a great place to be. You're honestly about your own
Your
fears. Honesty about your own fears and vulnerability is empowering to others.
Aw, thanks,
Thank you.
Laverne. I truly do love being a nerd. I just think it's fun.
And it's just who we are.
Yeah.
And like, so who are you that you aren't letting yourself be?
Yeah, and that's giving yourself permission to like the things that you've maybe been told in the past or not. Like,
exactly.
We were part of the Losers Club in high school or something. Yeah, we were known as the Losers Club or something. Dad made that up. But yeah, and in high school I remember going into a total wrongness of it. It's like, oh, I'm such a loser.
But it was being different. That's why we were called that, because we were the only ones that weren't allowed to, well, we weren't the only ones, but we weren't allowed to go to our freshie party. So we had our own party, you know, and it's like, so we were like that sore thumb sticking out, you know, and we went into a wrongness about it. And so what are the things that you think are wrong about you?
But that you secretly love,
But that you
right?
secretly love.
Because there's things that you were told as a kid was not the right way to be, and all along
you believed it.
You believed it, but you're always like, yeah, but I like doing that.
Yeah.
And so like doing that and be okay with it.
And the moment that you are like acknowledge that it's not a bad thing or a good thing or it's a nothing, but that's just you like that and you want to be more of that. It is such a freedom.
It is such a freedom, like us being creeps too.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden everything just poof, everything expands. This lightness, this truth, this total freedom to just be you.
Yes.
It's like no other feeling I've ever had before.
Yeah.
So what part of you really write down like all the things.
Dig deep into the things that you've been told in the past that were wrong. Maybe not told directly, but like implied, right? And start embracing your inner weirdness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let us know what your little inner weirdness is. Yeah, like Kara said, we are like creeps too. Like we like creepy things and ghosts and ghost stories.
When we were in Swift Current, I just got to tell a story. When we were in Swift Current this summer, Krista and I went and took the foundation class, and we were on the elevator, and Krista looks at me and she's like, "Man, we're creeps." and I instantly went into defense and was like, "No, we're not." And then all of a sudden I stopped and I'm like, "Oh my God, we're totally creeps." And it felt so light and fun and expansive. And so whatever that inner weirdness is in you.
Totally. And you know what? It's gave me even permission to talk about things at work. And like, yeah, does some people receive that? Like I have like boogers stuck all over me. Yeah, like they look at me like, who the hell are you? You know, like talking about the spirit world or talking about this. Like, it's like, yeah, but if I talk about it out loud, what kind of opportunities are waiting around the corner? And what kind of people that I never would have expected are like, hey, I like that too, you know? Like it joins you and draws in the people that are like you, then that you can just like go from there and create more. And there's just more. Well,
the more you are of you, the more you draw in the people that are like you. So if you're trying to pretend you're someone you're not and you're attracting all these people you don't like, well, there's probably a reason for that.
Yeah, and then you can't figure out why, like, you're, like, always miserable and unhappy because you have to, like, hang out with this person or that person or this group of people. It's like, well, you're choosing that because they're more important. What they think of you is more important than what you think about yourself and what you want other people to see. So, start being you.
Yes.
And we'll keep being us. And if everyone just would be them, then holy shit, the world would be a very interesting place.
Yes.
In a very interesting way.
Yes.
So we'll see you guys next week for sure. Stay warm if you're somewhere hot.
Lucky you.
Lucky you.
Enjoy every minute of it. Every minute of it. Don't feel guilty about us.
Exactly.
Poor chaps at home in the cold.
It's been an adventure.
Yes, absolutely.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.